Everybody get a good night's sleep?
No.
Good. I didn't, so that's good.
You had mentioned last week that your team has sometimes had more trouble with the first game of an aggregate score series than a one-off. Is there anything you can do about that at this point?
No, I mean, it's a two-game series, and we'll be ready for the two-game series. You know, we've talked about it already today. You know, we know what we have to do. You know, we've done very well in the second games of two-game series. So we just got to make sure we take care of the first game appropriately.
Does it work out more in your favor than having this first game at home?
It doesn't matter. You're going to play one at home and one on the road. So, you know, I mean, there's always a feeling that sometimes, if you get the second game at home, that's the advantage. I'm not always sure that is the advantage. It all depends.
Caleb said they were preparing as if the Sounders were going to win. Is that a vote of confidence, do you think?
I don't care what he does. You know.
Total of 4 goals in the 3 games these two teams have played. Do you think goals will be that rare again in this series?
I think both teams, you know, respect each other, so they play each other, you know, very tough from the defensive standpoint. And, you know, although, you know, they've done a good job offensively getting forward, they also get 9 guys behind the ball oftentimes, so they make it tough, you know, to break them down and to get through. So, you know, possession is going to be important in this series, as it is in every series, but possession in the right parts of the field are important. But it's going to be, you know, goals are going to be, you know, should be as well in the playoffs. Goals are hard to come by.
How is DeAndre healing up?
We'll see. You know, I mean, he was in today early getting treatment. He'll get treatment a couple more times today. We'll have it looked at, and, you know, we'll evaluate as we move on.
How does your thinking change depending on his availability? I mean, are you able to just plug someone else in and have them prepare the team the same way?
We'll have to see. You know, I think we have different options. You know, obviously DeAndre's been our starting right back pretty much all season, but, you know, you saw Brad Evans can play there. Zach Scott came in and played the last few minutes there. He can play there as well. You know, so there's options there. You know, different people can play there. Adam Moffat can play there as well.
Any clarity on Oba, and did Shaori kind of heal up a little quicker than you might have expected?
He's a funny one when it comes to recovery. He takes like baby steps and then he takes huge leaps. So he's in his huge leap stage, and you know, that's why we put him in the 18. We felt his experience, he could be a good alternative at the end of the game, depending upon what we needed. You know, and he's been able to get through training and do well, so that's important. I'm trying to remember the first guy you asked me about. Oba, you know, we're still, you know, evaluating him, much like DeAndre, and we'll see.
Playoffs are big enough. Do you wish this wasn't an arch rival as well?
I think it's good. I think it's good for the league. You know, I mean, you know, obviously, you know, people are going to tune in and see a huge crowd on Saturday. You know, and they're going to see a great event. You know, and this is what the playoffs should be, and you know, so having it be a rival is great. You know, I think it's great for the league, you know, and it's great for soccer in this country. And, you know, I've been in soccer for a long time in this country, so anytime good things happen like that, I look at it as a positive.
How would you describe Morrows' role within the current formation that you're running, and how does he fit into it potentially?
Well, I thought Morrow was fantastic last night. You know, I mean, I know he didn't play a minute, but, you know, what he contributed to the team before the game, at halftime, after the game, from the bench, you know, he was engaged, he was involved, he was with the guys, he was talking to guys at halftime, he was helpful. You know, he was what he is, you know, captain of our team, even though he didn't get on the field, and that's fantastic for the younger players to see. I think for us right now, the way we're playing and so forth, I mean, he can still play in the diamond midfield. He could play at the point of the diamond where Dempsey's playing. He could play on the right-hand side of that. He can play as one of the 2 forwards, which is where we brought him in the game against LA. So there's still a lot of options for him that way.
Morrow hasn't been on the field. We've seen Ozzy with the armband a lot recently. It's been Brad. Has there been anything to that change?
I've let them decide. I'm not I'm not a big one on being a coach who says, okay, I'm going to determine who the captain is. You know, I want the players to sort of decide that. And I think the one game Ozzy was going to wear the armband, and then you know, they decided, you know, amongst themselves that they were going to have Evans wear it, and so Evans has worn it the last 2 games. And as I've said before, you need a lot of captains on the field. You don't need just one, and leadership. I think it was good. You know, it was good to see them determine that and take that responsibility themselves. And as to why it happened, I didn't ask. You know, as long as they're happy with it, I'm happy with it.
Does Marcus bring an element of that as well, leadership?
Brings leadership, a little bit of size and goal, you know, brings that as well. No, Marcus, he's another one who's there for the team. I mean, he's completely engaged in the game and so forth, and I think because he's so engaged in the game, you know, he got put into a difficult situation last night coming in, not really being able to warm up, but mentally he's in the game while the game's going on. So mentally he was in tune. He's not sitting on the bench with his feet up and relaxing. You know, he's out there. He's kicking every ball with the team, and so that made it easier for him to come in, and that's leadership that we expect from him.
Did Dempsey's first goal in any way kind of give him more permission to lead more vocally or actively?
No, I think everybody knows he's a good player and everybody respects him in terms of what he does. And, you know, he's got a goal and he's got an assist now in the last 2 games. So those are important, you know, benchmarks for him to get both of those things going. You know, what I was happy with is we found him last night with the ball. You know, the game flowed through him. I thought he made some good decisions. You know, the pass he made to Lamar in the first half, the little one-touch layoff and put Lamar in, I thought was fantastic, you know. And as we know each other better and better, you know, the guys will read that better, and we finish those opportunities, and you get more assists, you get more goals. So, but it doesn't, you know, the guys have always respected what he's done and what he's accomplished and what he brings to the game right now, and that's what determines leadership.
The season series is dead even between you and Portland. What do you think it's going to take to give you guys the extra edge?
Well, you know, I mean, we have to we have to be motivated. You know, we have to be concentrated as a team, and we have to continue to stick with what we're trying to do as a game plan. You know, the guys were all behind it in the last 2 games, and we got to continue to be behind it, and you know, hopefully avoid injuries, you know, as much as possible. And you know, this game on Saturday for us is a big mind over matter game. You know, it's our 3rd game. You know, in 7 days it's their 2nd, but at the end of the day we're in a rhythm of playing too, so we're happy about that.
Any relevance that y'all have had? Y'all have been to the playoffs before and they have not?
Yeah, I think experience, you know, is a helpful thing, but they've got guys on their team who've got experiences. Obviously, Will Johnson has been to the playoffs a number of times. Donovan Ricketts has been to the playoffs a number of times. You know, you've got, you know, Valeri's been involved in big games in Argentina. You got Ryan Johnson. He's been to the playoffs before. You know, I'm not trying to go down, you know, their whole team, but, you know, Harrington's been in the playoffs before. You know, Jewsbury's been there before. There's a lot of guys who've been there before. You know, maybe not as the Portland Timbers, but they've been there.
How does your new game plan or just the diamond formation that you're working, how do you think that's going to match up with Portland?
We'll see. You know, everybody plays different. I mean, they play the same formation as Colorado, but it's different because their wide players play differently than Colorado's wide players. So we'll make those adjustments, and and I'm sure they'll adjust, you know, to us as well. The key in a game is to make them adjust a little more to us than we adjust to them.
Thank you.
Okay.
Look at the pace. It'll go. Oh, it is fantastic. Absolutely sensational by the Sounders. Hey kids, come train like the first team. Join us this year at Sounders FC Youth Soccer Camps. Have fun and improve your skills. Meet players, make friends and learn from the best. Visit camps.soundersfc.com. Space is limited, so sign up today.